the Nubian Desert in northern Sudan. In ancient times, this was the center of a golden civilization called the Kush Empire. These aren't hills rising from the sand. They are the ruined tombs of Kushite kings and queens who once ruled over all of Egypt, but are now almost completely forgotten. This is the royal cemetery called El Kuru. It's one of a handful of places where scholars can dig for clues about the mysterious culture and the elusive history of the Kush people. That's what attracted archaeologist Jeff Emberling. At a pyramid called Ku-1, Jeff's team is moving 100 tons of earth, hoping to expose a royal tomb beneath. At one time, hundreds of workers toiled to construct this monument, stone by stone, in honor of a single powerful man. Today, no one even knows who he was.
We want, first of all, to find out the name of the king. And second of all, we would hope that there would be additional information in material left in the pyramid about where they fit in history over 2,000 years ago.
Jeff doesn't have a lot to go on. Over hundreds of years, the Ku-1 pyramid has been worn down by wind-blown sand and picked apart by looters in search of Nubian gold. What looks today like a pile of bricks once stood nearly 4 times as high. In modern times, this particular tomb has proven to be the toughest to crack, even for the man who first began excavating here. About 100 years ago, American archaeologist George Reisner excavated many Kush monuments and discovered the tombs of its most important kings.
George Reisner was an amazing pioneer of archaeology in Kush. He started in 1908, he worked into the 1930s, very difficult conditions, and yet he managed to establish a basic chronology, not only of the broad archaeological periods, but of all the kings of Kush. He put them all into order, and it's an order that we still basically use today.
At El Kuru, Reisner got to the bottom of every pyramid except Ku-1. The ceiling of the pyramid had collapsed, locking its secrets inside. Having just lost 5 men in a cave-in nearby, Reisner decided not to tempt fate any further and returned home. Sometimes, Jeff Emberling has thought of doing the same.
When you read Reisner's notes from his excavations at El Kuru, at the end of the season, he took about 2 weeks off. And he has a little note that the doctor told him he had to stop worrying so much. And I can kind of appreciate this now, even just excavating one of the pyramids, because there's inherent risk. There's no such thing as no risk.
Of course, without risk, there's no reward. And as Reisner discovered at other royal burial sites, the payoff can be staggering. In the other nearby temples, Reisner recovered golden jewelry and stunning artifacts. Long-lost masterpieces buried with the Kushite kings to enrich them in the afterlife. The Nubian craftsmanship was stunning, intricate and innovative. The artistry on display was sometimes even more impressive than the ornaments created to the north in Egypt. To find even one surviving item would be a triumph for Jeff.
As an archaeologist, your dreams are often quite vivid about what you can find in a place. And so obviously these king's burials were once extremely rich with gold and silver objects and finely crafted beautiful expressions of their religious sentiments as well as their status and prestige. So we could imagine finding all of those things inside the burial chamber.
Jeff's first big revelation is not gold treasure, but a giant staircase, one fit for a king-size funeral procession.
You can see that this staircase is really monumental. They've dug down through the solid rock to a depth of over 25 feet.
But at the bottom of the staircase, an ominous sign.
You can see just at the bottom there, the original doorway, and above it, an irregular hole. That irregular hole was dug by looters.
Jeff believes the tomb must have been looted long ago by someone familiar with its layout.
Unusually in this pyramid, the inner chamber is huge and high. And so it was only the people who built that would have known that digging over the doorway, they'd break into the open space of the chamber itself.
The question is, how far in did the looters get? And what, if anything, did they leave behind?